To the Odyssey School of Denver. We are 8th graders that are in Maggie Kane's science class.
This year, we have learned about different modes of transportation and what they run off of. We started with the internal combustion engine, figuring out how that is the main source of fuel that we use on our roads today.
Later, we learned about Elon Musk, the inventor of Tesla. Now, how does the creator of the Tesla connect with our work of the internal combustion engine? Well, he was the one that created the best electric car to date.
We started learning about electric cars soon after We started learning about electric cars soon after and how they are much more environmentally friendly than regular cars. Also, they're actually cheaper than the internal combustion engine if you use them long enough. They pay off themselves.
After we learned about the electric engine, we moved on to learn about some different kinds of friendly cars.
One we would like to introduce you to is the propane engine and why it can be better than the internal combustion engine. First off, we'll start introducing you to the propane engine. There are different types of propane engines.
There are two types of them. They have been widely used and refined for decades.
One of those types of propane engines are biofuel. Biofuel have two separate fueling systems that allow them to be used. They have two separate sources of fuel as well, propane and gas. Dedicated propane vehicles run solely on propane. That is the other type.
A propane vehicle's power, accelerating, and cruising speed is about the same as the internal combustion engine. Driving range for the dedicated and biofuel vehicles are also comparable.
Propane vehicles are similar to the gasoline vehicles due to their cruising speed, acceleration speed, and driving range. Biofuel vehicles included a secondary fuel system that give them a much better range than dedicated propane vehicles or gasoline vehicles.
A downside is the legislative tank can increase the range, but the additional weight displaces the payload capacity.
This is a problem because the propane has 27 less energy per gallon than gasoline.
However, the propane has a higher octane rating than gasoline manufacturers, and some original machine equipment manufacturers offer dedicated engines to take advantage of this higher rating. This result improves the fuel economy.
Now you are probably wondering how the propane engine works after hearing all of these good things about them. In both types of these engines, the propane is stored as a liquid on a relatively low pressure tank in the back of the vehicle. Liquid propane travels along the fuel line to the engine compartment where it is converted by a vaporizer or a regulator.
Here are the main key components of a propane car: a battery to start the engine, an electric control module, or the ECM, controls the engine's performance, the fuel efficiency, and the intermissions. The exhaust systems will change the exhaust through the tailpipe. The float assembly monitors the fuel levels of the tank, and a filter and a nozzle that uses filter and nozzle used to add fuel to the tank.
There's also a fuel filter that traps dirt and other particles from clogging the system. There's also the fuel injector system that injects the fuel into the combustion chamber. The fuel line, which is a metal tube that allows the flow of the fuel from the tank to the ignition system. The fuel tank stores propane that we use for fuel.
The spark ignition, which ignites the fuel, overflow protection that shuts off the fuel after it reaches 80% capacity. The pressure gauge measures and displaces the fuel pressure in the tank. The pressure relief valve, which keeps the pressure in check, the tank valve. It stops fuel from entering the tank that is unwanted, and the transmission that transfers the mechanical energy to the engine.
Now, comparing this to the internal combustion engine, which has a lot more parts and it's harder to predict. For example, take the pistons. For that reaction to even occur, there are at least six different parts to help this occur. the crankshaft which turns the pistons in order to go up, and then you have the spark plug which integrates the fuel after the input and output tube.
Then the pistons have to turn around, add pressure, and once it ignites, it has to go out into the engine, which is even more steps. The propane engine is not only easier to understand, but it also provides better mileage and is more environmentally friendly. So take it from us. The propane engine is the way to go when comparing engines. Propane might just be the next fuel your car runs off of.
Thank you for visiting the Odyssey School of Denver.
The 7-8 science class.
Bye.
All right.